Hello, I just wanted to give you an update today. I have been working on the solar project, y'all know that. I want to bring light to the people. I want to bring light into buildings by putting solar collectors on the roof and piping it in through light tubes. And I want to run the light right through a prism, split it into colors, take each color and shine it around any old plaza in any old city and shine it onto the ceilings of office buildings so people working there can see these most glorious colors. So I want to tell you about that today. And I'm hanging out over here in one of my favorite spots right nearby my house. I mean, it's like a 5-minute walk over here, and I just sit here and relax, and it's kind of fun, and I think about things. But this solar collector thing has a lot of possibilities. The two that I mentioned are the ones I'm most interested in at the moment, but historically it's been used with extremely high temperatures to turn water into steam and run that into a turbo generator to make electricity. There's plenty of just huge installations around the world, and they keep working on it, and it keeps getting more economical the more they work on it. And I honestly think that the framing system, the mirror system, and the tracking system that I have are significantly less expensive, a lot more home buildable, and made with available materials. They don't need anything special, and they're very cheap materials. I think they could be improved to last longer out in the weather, and that's really important. So there's a lot of uses for them. They get really, really hot. You can melt steel with them. What I'd really like to see happen, I mean, it'd just be fun, being an old science fiction buff, is to see foamy glass domes made that were either on the moon or orbiting. And then pretty soon, I mean, this is 2018, early, I think February 2nd or 3rd. Pretty soon we're going to be getting out into space real cheap. I mean, it's not going to be more than a decade or two, I don't think. And we could then build these large solar mirrors that could melt rocks, like from the moon or bring in an asteroid or whatever, and turn them into foamy glass domes, which would be insulated, have a nice finished glassy outer and inner surface. And if it was economical enough, then you could just deorbit them, drop them down and make houses out in space. Or you could just send the sunlight energy from space right down to your factory out in the desert where the skies are clear most all the year. And you could use mirrors, of course, to mirror that all around the orbit. So using power, I mean, if you need that for power, probably there's going to be some other power source come up. So I'm pretty much banking on solar energy as power going away within about 20 years, and oil and stuff going away before that, with a lot of these new energy methods coming up. So I've been working on health and art. I think those will not get usurped. I'm already trying to get rid of a residual bronchitis, I think it is. And I would, go ahead and go to the doctor and pay a whole bunch of money and get some nasty chemical that would maybe get rid of it or maybe not, because bronchitis and pneumonia are very hard to deal with using antibiotics. I'm guessing it's just because they don't get into the fluid that's inside the lung. So they should really be using insufflators. They just don't know any better. And that's unfortunate. Actually, organic oil of oregano, using the wild crafted oregano, and what's it called? A nebulizer, little $22 nebulizer, uses some kind of vibration to turn that into a fog that you breathe and inhale deeply. That works really good. But it didn't really cure me. I've been kind of sick for a month. That's not good. Anyway, I did not get the flu, and I did not get sinusitis. That part's good. So I'm sure we all got our health problems. I just did a big sun bath, and it was amazing. I mean, it felt really good, and my boy and my niece told me that I was a little sunburnt. That's kind of interesting. So, you know, the solar thing is working out okay. I just made a video for the solar thing. It's called the DE303, so pretty much all you're going to have to do in the future is Google DE303 and you'll get movies and whatever else is on the web about it. And I might just call the sun tracking platform by the same name just to make it easier to find stuff. But basically what I got now is a mirror system. Again, not very useful for home because of the lack of efficient and economical small, very small electrical production unit, and that's too bad. However, for larger installations, I think this system is going to work just fine, and hopefully I can license it to individuals. But for the PV, anyone who owns PV and has space in their yard might just want to build one and get themselves about approximately 35% increase in power. So, you know, if you can put $4,000 worth of PV up on top of this tracking platform, you suddenly increased your wealth 35%, and you have only spent, I don't think it's even a week's work for a beginner, and I'm guessing maybe at the most $600, probably less than that. So I'll figure it out, you know, how big and how much it costs and that kind of thing. I'm going to be making plans, you know, anyone who wants to help, you know, by donating, that's fine. I'm going to get some of those websites, you know, where you can do that, what, Pantheon or whatever. And then all that unfortunately requires an awful lot of advertising plus a real high-end movie. And you probably could tell, you know, I'm not too much into movie editing, but I do just like sitting here and talking. It's kind of fun to be out in the wilderness talking to myself. This is, by the way, Accotink Creek, connects Accotink Lake over to our right, about a mile. And it is really a fabulous place right in the middle of the suburbs. It really looks wild. And plenty of deer out here too, although you can't hunt them. You can get a license and hang out with the bow hunters and take out a few because they got too many. But anyway, this is probably getting close to everything I want to say at the moment. And it is a nice warm day, that's great. I love it. And winter time will be over soon. You know, it's only going to be like a month and a half at the most. Mid-March we start getting some pretty good spring weather usually, sometimes earlier than that. So, boy, that's pretty much all I wanted to say, except for, you know, I don't really know what our creator wants. I mean, I restarted this solar project again after 17 years of leaving it off, and that's complicated. I wrote it out, you can read it somewhere, but you never know what our creator wants. Maybe I'm supposed to bring light to the people, you know, natural light inside a building can give you, they are saying, I think it's exaggerated, 35% more shopping, you know, if you put it natural light and pipe it into your any kind of store. So they'll be putting these concentrating solar collectors on rooftops and using mirrored tubes to pipe it in to the building. And of course when the sun shines, you know, your electric lights go down automatically. They just got a circuit to do it automatically. And then you'll end up with a lower electric bill. So in the end, you probably make the money back anyway, but if you really do get more shopping going on, and if your employees perform better, this is the point. You know, most people don't know. They did a lot of experiments in California with school children, and if you had a window, you know, provided that there was also a curtain, because you don't want that bright blast of light, you know, some kind of curtain to mitigate, you know, the harsh light, they were getting 15% enhanced academic performance, even accounting for every other factor. Now that's significant. I mean, if you got 15% more salary starting tomorrow, I think you'd be pretty happy, don't you? Yeah, 15%. Also, it's interesting to note that in Germany, they do not allow an employer to have an employee who does not have a window. So they must have found, you know, that kind of thing a long time ago. They're generally a big step ahead of us in terms of human health, and they don't allow genetically modified food into the country, for example, I don't think, and a lot of other American food products they wouldn't allow in there. Kind of gives an idea that maybe we're a little more corporate controlled than they are. I mean, that's a shame. Rich people should not have control over our lives that way. It's actually disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But anyway, the solar thing has a lot of hope and promise, and I should have a lot of fun, and I'll be awful glad if, you know, children all around the world, or even just one child or just one of God's children, get significant benefit out of it. And if you hung out with me and listened to this for over 10 minutes now, well, I thank you, and I appreciate it, and I hope that all this blah blah does you some good. Because it kind of did me some good hanging out here and talking about it and getting it all out. And I'm not too good for writing. It just takes too long. So this method, I think, is good. And I'm not real good at video editing. So if the video didn't come out too good, you have to put up with that. Okay? Anyhow, I hope you're doing really fine. And I hope your tomorrow will be better than your today. And I hope you get lots of good sunshine. You really need that vitamin D. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.